Hello, my friend. This is Dr. William Lee, and I am truly glad you are here with me today. I want you to imagine something very simple, your typical morning. You wake up, you sit on the edge of the bed. Maybe you reach for your glasses on the nightstand. You blink a few times, you rub your eyes gently, and you wait for the world to come into focus. Maybe you pick up your phone or a book to check the time or read a message. The words look a little soft. You move the phone farther away, then closer, trying to find that sweet spot where the letter stops swimming and finally settle down. You stand up and walk to the bathroom, and there is a moment when the room feels slightly dim, even though the light is on. You lean closer to the mirror to see your own face clearly. The edges are not quite as crisp as you remember from years ago. If this sounds even a little bit familiar, I want you to know that you are not imagining it and you are certainly not alone. Over the last 30 years, I have listened to thousands of people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s quietly describe these same small daily struggles. They tell me, doctor, my eyes just do not feel like they belong to me anymore. Some talk about blurry vision when they read. Others mention that street signs seem harder to read unless they get very close. Some say night driving feels stressful because headlights look too bright and everything else looks too dark. A few tell me that when they step outside on a sunny morning, their eyes feel almost attacked by the light before they slowly adapt. Then there is the dryness, eyes that feel gritty or sandy the moment they wake up, watering and tearing for no clear reason. A need to blink again and again just to clear the film over their vision. Now, each of these might seem like small annoyances, but you and I both know the truth. The real weight of these symptoms is not only in your eyes, it is in what they make you fear. Because when your vision starts to change, even a little, a quiet voice can start to whisper in the back of your mind. What if this gets worse? What if one day I cannot drive myself to the grocery store? What if I cannot read the labels on my medications? What if I cannot see the faces of my grandchildren clearly? Perhaps you wonder what would happen if you tripped over a step you did not see. A fall at your age is not a small thing. You might picture yourself depending on others more and more, and that thought can be frightening. Losing your sharp vision does not just change how you see the world, it can threaten the independence and dignity you have worked your whole life to protect. Many of my patients tell me something else as well. They feel dismissed. They finally gather the courage to tell someone, maybe a busy doctor, about their worries. And what do they hear? Well, that is just aging. Those four words can feel like a door closing, as if the conversation is over before it begins, as if there is nothing you can do except wait and hope it does not get too bad. But from what I have seen in clinical practice and in scientific research, that is not the whole story. Aging is real, of course, and none of us can turn back the clock. But the changes in your eyes are not simply a timer counting down. They are often the result of specific processes inside your body, and many of those processes can be supported, slowed, and sometimes even gently reversed with the right habits. Let us take a calm look inside your eyes for a moment. Think of the inside of your eye like a camera. At the back of that camera is the retina, a very thin layer of tissue that captures light and turns it into signals your brain can understand. The retina needs constant support just like any other living tissue. It needs oxygen, nutrients, and protection. Delivering that support is a network of tiny blood vessels so small that you could line hundreds of them across the width of a single hair. These vessels bring in fresh blood and carry away waste. Now, with age and with things like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, or inflammation, those vessels can become stiff, narrow, or clogged. When that happens, less nourishing blood reaches your retina. You can picture this like a garden. If the hoses that carry water to your plants are kinked or blocked, the leaves will slowly lose their color and strength. In the same way, weak blood flow to the eye can make the cells of your retina more vulnerable. They do not die all at once, but over time they can lose some of their sharpness. Then there is something called oxidative stress. Every time light enters your eye, every time you use your vision, there is a small amount of natural wear and tear on the cells. Your body is designed to handle this. You have your own built-in protection systems, antioxidants that act like firefighters putting out tiny sparks before they become flames. But long-term exposure to bright light, poor diet, cigarette smoke, chronic stress, and lack of sleep can increase the number of sparks and weaken the firefighters. Over many years, this oxidative stress can damage the lens of your eye, making it cloudy, and it can affect the retina as well. Another piece of the puzzle is the surface of your eye, the cornea, and the tear film. Your tears are not just water. They are a delicate mixture of water, oils, and mucus that create a smooth protective layer over the front of your eye. When that layer is healthy, light enters the eye cleanly and your vision is clear. When the tear film breaks up too quickly, or when your glands do not produce enough of the right kind of tears, the surface becomes rough and dry. Think of the difference between looking through a clean window and a dusty one. Even if the glass is perfect, dust and smudges can blur everything behind it. In the same way, dryness and irritation can blur your vision, give you fluctuating clarity, and make your eyes feel tired. So, what is really driving so many of the vision concerns I hear about from people over 60? It is a combination of poor circulation to the eye, oxidative stress inside the eye, and dryness or irritation on the surface of the eye, along with that long-term strain from screens reading in low light and uncorrected prescriptions, can push your eyes to work harder than they should from morning to night. Now, here is the part that gives me hope, and I wanted to give you hope too. Each of these root causes can be influenced by small, consistent choices you make in your everyday life. You cannot change your birth date, but you can absolutely change what happens inside your body tomorrow morning. You might be thinking, Doctor, I already have a lot on my plate. I do not want a complicated program that feels like a full-time job, and you're right to feel that way. Many of my patients have told me the same thing. If something is too complex, it simply will not last. This is why I am such a big believer in simple morning habits. Not a huge lifestyle overhaul, not an expensive gadget, but gentle adjustments to what you already do when you wake up. Think of them as small levers you can pull that create a ripple effect through the rest of your day. Your morning is like the first brushstroke on a blank canvas. The way you hydrate the first light, your eyes see how you move your body, what you put in your cup and on your plate. All of these send powerful signals to your blood vessels, your tear glands, and your brain. So those signals can either support your eyes or make their job harder. For example, the way you drink water in the first hour after waking can affect how well your tear glands work. Gentle movement can improve circulation to your eyes and brain, almost like opening the taps to let more fresh blood flow in. The kind of light you expose your eyes to in the morning can help reset your internal clock, which influences your sleep at night. And healthy sleep is one of the strongest protectors against inflammation and oxidative stress. Here is what I want you to remember. The solution I'm going to guide you through is not about perfection. It is not about doing 20 brand new things all at once. It is about choosing a few simple morning habits that feel natural to you and letting them quietly work in the background day after day. Many of these habits use things you already have at home: a glass of water, a cup of tea or coffee, the sunlight coming through your window, a warm washcloth, a simple piece of fruit. We're going to talk about 20 specific morning habits that support sharper, brighter vision. Some will help your circulation, some may calm inflammation, Some will support natural moisture in your eyes. Others will reduce strain so your eyes do not have to work quite so hard. Individually, each habit seems small. Together, they create what I like to call a protective environment for your eyes. A kind of gentle shield that you renew every morning without needing to think about it very much. If you have ever felt skeptical about bold online promises, I understand you completely. You should be skeptical. You deserve real explanations, not magic claims. So, as we go through these habits in this series, I will tell you why each one matters, what is happening inside your body, and how you can do it in a way that fits your life. No scare tactics, no pressure, just clear information and practical steps. And I also want to say this, it is not too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or well into your 80s, your eyes are still living tissue. They still respond to better blood flow, better nutrition, and less strain. I have seen patients who thought their decline was inevitable, only to find that with a few consistent changes, their eyes felt more comfortable. Their vision felt steadier and their confidence returned. If this calm science-based and respectful approach is the kind of support you have been longing for, you are very welcome here. You may choose to stay with this channel, and if you wish, you can subscribe so you do not miss the rest of this series on natural ways to protect your health and your independence. I think of this as a community of people who refuse to give up on their bodies, who want to work with their biology instead of fighting against it. In the next part, we will begin to walk through these morning habits one by one. I will start with one of the simplest something you can do before you even finish your first cup of water or coffee, and I will show you exactly how such a small act can begin to nudge your eyes toward clearer, more comfortable vision. So take a breath and know that you are not powerless. And when you are ready, let us move together into the first gentle morning habit for sharper, brighter vision. All right, let us move gently into the first of our morning habits together. Morning habit number one is something so simple that many people overlook it: a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. When you have been sleeping during the night, your body has gone many hours without any fluid. You breathe out moisture, you may sweat a little, your kidneys keep working, but you are not drinking. By the time you open your eyes in the morning, you're already partly dehydrated, even if you do not feel very thirsty. Now, here is why that matters so much for your vision. Your eyes are mostly water, your tears are mostly water. The blood that flows through the tiny vessels in your retina needs enough water to move smoothly. When you are even mildly dehydrated, your blood can become a little thicker like syrup instead of tea, and it does not flow as easily through the narrow vessels that feed your eyes. Your tear glands also have a harder time making a healthy film to keep the surface of your eye smooth and clear. So that simple glass of water in the first few minutes after you wake up is not just about your mouth feeling less dry. It is about turning the tap back on for your eyes, helping your blood thin out to a healthy level so it can carry oxygen and nutrients all the way to the back of your eye and giving your tear glands the raw material they need to protect your vision. Here's the part that surprises many people. The way you drink the water matters. Instead of gulping it down all at once, sip it slowly over a few minutes, almost like you are watering a delicate plant rather than pouring water into a bucket. Some of my patients like to keep a glass or a small bottle right by the bed, so it is the first thing their hand touches in the morning. Others add just a squeeze of lemon for taste, which can gently wake up their digestion as well. I remember a patient named Harold, age 72. He used to wake up with eyes that felt like sandpaper. He told me that he always blamed the heat in his bedroom. When we looked at his habits, we realized that he did not drink anything until his late morning coffee, sometimes 3 hours after waking. We made one simple change. He began to drink a full glass of water within 10 minutes of waking every single day. When Harold came back after a few weeks, he smiled and said that his eyes still had some dryness, but the morning burning feeling had eased and his vision felt less hazy as he walked to the bathroom. He felt more awake and more steady on his feet, and he noticed he did not need to rub his eyes as much. So, this first habit may seem ordinary, but it is a powerful way to rehydrate your eyes from the inside out every single morning. Now, while water supports the inner environment of your eyes, our next habit works right at the surface where your tears and the air meet. Morning habit number two is a warm eye compress using a simple clean washcloth. The moment you wake up, the glands in your eyelids should begin to release tiny amounts of natural oil into your tears. This oil is important. It forms the top layer of your tear film and slows down evaporation, so your tears stay on your eye longer and keep the surface smooth. As we get older, those oil glands can become clogged a bit like small tubes that are blocked with wax. The result is tears that evaporate too quickly, leaving your eyes dry, irritated, and blurry. A warm compress in the morning is like a gentle reset for those glands. When you soak a clean washcloth in warm water, wring it out, close your eyes, and rest the cloth over your eyelids. For a minute or two, the warmth softens the oils inside the glands. Think of butter left out on the counter instead of in the refrigerator. Softer oil flows more easily. The secret that many people never hear is that the warmth needs to be consistent and gentle, not hot. You do not want to burn your delicate eyelid skin. Aim for the temperature of comfortable bath water. If the cloth cools off quickly, you can rewarm it once or twice. After the compress, a few slow, deliberate blinks help express that softened oil into your tears. One of my patients, Gloria, age 68, had reached a point where she avoided morning reading altogether. She told me that her eyes would water and blur within minutes, and she thought she was simply getting old. When we examined her, we found that her eyelid glands were clogged. I showed her how to use a warm compress each morning after washing her face. After 3 weeks, she returned and said that mornings no longer felt like a battle with her eyes. She could read a short article with her tea, and her eyes did not sting the way they used to. She felt more willing to go for a walk because wind and light bothered her less. It was the same pair of eyes, but they were being cared for differently. So this second habit, the warm compress, might look like a tiny act of kindness, but it is actually a way to restore the natural oil layer that protects your tears. While the first habit nourishes your eyes from the inside and the second protects the surface, our next habit works on the way light meets your eyes at the start of the day. Morning habit number three is gentle exposure to natural morning light. When you wake up, your eyes do more than see. They also send signals to a small clock deep in your brain. That clock controls your sleep-wake cycle, your hormones, and even some aspects of inflammation. Morning light, especially the softer light in the first 2 hours after sunrise, is like a reset button for that inner clock. When you step near a window or out onto a balcony or porch and allow that natural light to reach your eyes without staring directly at the sun, you are giving your brain a clear message. It is daytime. It is time to be awake and alert now. And later tonight, it will be time to produce melatonin and rest. Better sleep at night means lower inflammation throughout the body, including in the tiny vessels and tissues of your eyes. The science here is simple but powerful. Special cells in your retina sense light and send messages to the brain clock. When this clock is in sync with the natural day, your body manages blood sugar, blood pressure, and inflammatory chemicals more effectively. That creates a safer environment for your eyes over time. Here's the part many people do not realize. Just a few minutes can make a difference. You do not need to stare at the sky or go for a long walk if that is not comfortable. Even sitting by a window with your face turned toward the daylight while you sip at your water or morning drink can help. The key is to let natural light, not just indoor lamps, reach your eyes. I think of a patient named Samuel, age 75. He often stayed in a dim apartment with the curtains drawn because bright light felt harsh to him. He also had trouble falling asleep and woke up feeling unrefreshed with heavy, tired eyes. Together, we created a very gentle plan. For the first week, he simply opened the curtains and sat by the window for 5 minutes each morning with his eyes open and relaxed, not staring at anything in particular. Within a month, Samuel reported that he was falling asleep more easily and waking up feeling clearer. His eyes still had age-related changes, but he no longer felt that crushing heaviness over them in the morning. That small act of meeting the day with his eyes instead of hiding from the light shifted his entire rhythm. So morning habit number 3, invite natural light into your eyes in a safe, gentle way, helping your inner clock and your eye health work together. Now, while light can wake your brain, there is another simple act that helps your eyelids and tear film wake up properly as well. Morning habit number 4 is a conscious blinking reset. You might think blinking is automatic, and it is, but as we age and as we use more screens, many of us develop a shallow blink. The eyelids come down only part way, or we blink less often. That means each blink spreads tears unevenly over the eye surface, leaving dry spots and blurred areas. In the morning, when your tear film is just getting started for the day, a few intentional full blinks can make a surprising difference. The science is straightforward. A full blink brings your upper lid all the way down to meet the lower lid, like a gentle windshield wiper moving across the surface of your eye. This action spreads the 3 layers of your tear film water, oil, and mucus evenly across the cornea. It refreshes the surface and clears tiny debris. The secret is to practice this for just 30 to 60 seconds each morning. After your warm compress or after you wash your face, sit or stand comfortably. Look straight ahead at a neutral point. Slowly close your eyes. Fully pause for a moment, then open them. Repeat this at a relaxed pace, not squeezing, not rushing. I remember a woman named Lila, age 69, who told me that her vision seemed to go in and out of focus in the first hour of her day. She thought it was her glasses prescription changing. When I watched her blink, I saw that her lids barely touched. I taught her the full blink reset and asked her to do it every morning while she waited for her kettle to boil. A few weeks later, she laughed in my office and said that she never imagined blinking could be homework, but it worked. Her mornings felt less fuzzy and she noticed that her eyes were less tired by lunchtime. Nothing about her prescription had changed. What changed was the way she used her eyelids. So this fourth habit may take less than a minute, but it is a direct way to improve how your tears coat your eyes, especially at the start of the day. While blinking cares for the surface, there is another habit that feeds your eyes from within, like breakfast for your retina. Morning habit number 5 is adding one eye-nourishing food to your first meal of the day. Your retina is hungry and it prefers certain nutrients that act like shields and repair crews. Among the most important are pigments called lutein and zeaxanthin, which concentrate in the center of your retina, and vitamin C, and other antioxidants which help neutralize the little sparks of oxidative stress we talked about earlier. Omega-3 fatty acids also play a role in supporting a healthy tear film. You do not need a complicated menu to support your eyes. The secret is to choose at least one food rich in these nutrients and make it a regular part of your morning. For example, a handful of dark leafy greens blended into an omelette or scrambled eggs, a small bowl of berries, a kiwi, a slice of orange, or a spoonful of ground flax or chia seeds sprinkled over oatmeal or yogurt. Many people are surprised to learn that the pigments in dark green and bright yellow or orange vegetables actually travel to your eyes and form part of a natural internal filter that protects your retina from light damage. It is as if your body is making its own sunglasses from the inside. Berries and citrus provide vitamin C that supports the tiny blood vessels in your retina, keeping them flexible. Omega-3 fats help your tear glands produce healthier oils. One of my patients, Eleanor, age 71, had a habit of drinking only coffee in the morning and then grabbing a pastry later. Her weight was stable, but she felt her eyes were getting weaker, and she had been told she had early signs of macular degeneration. We did not try to change everything at once. Instead, we began with one commitment. Every morning, she would add either a small bowl of blueberries or a cooked egg with spinach to whatever else she was having. 6 months later, her follow-up eye scan showed that her condition had not worsened, and in some areas, the pigments in her retina had actually increased, which is a good sign. More importantly, she told me that her energy felt more stable, and she felt proud that she was feeding her eyes with intention instead of feeling helpless. So this fifth habit turns your breakfast into a small daily medicine for your eyes using ordinary foods in a purposeful way. Now, while food nourishes your eyes from the inside, our next habit will focus on improving the flow of blood that carries those nutrients up to your head and into your eyes each morning. In the next part, I will walk you through a gentle set of movements and posture adjustments that can fit into even the slowest morning, helping to open up the pathways that deliver oxygen and nourishment to your eyes without any strain or special equipment. Let us pick up right where we left off with your eyes in mind and your morning just beginning. We have already talked about water warm for your eyelids, gentle light, conscious blinking, and nourishing your retina with food. Now I want to show you how you can use simple movements to help more fresh blood reach your eyes and your brain without any strain or special equipment. Morning habit number 6 is a gentle neck and shoulder release to open up circulation to your head and eyes. Think of the blood vessels that carry oxygen and nutrients to your eyes as a highway that starts in your chest, passes up through your neck, and then branches out to your face and your eyes. If the muscles in your neck and shoulders are tight from years of sitting, reading, or looking down at the phones, they can act a little like hands squeezing that highway. The blood still flows, but not as freely. In the morning, after hours in one sleeping position, those muscles can be especially stiff. When you take 2 or 3 minutes to gently loosen them, you are making it easier for blood to travel upward and feed your eyes. Here is a simple way to do it. Sit on the edge of your bed or on a chair with your feet flat on the floor. Let your arms rest by your sides. First, take a slow breath in through your nose and let your shoulders rise toward your ears, as if you are saying, I do not know. Then breathe out and let your shoulders melt down and back. Repeat this 3 times. Next, keep your shoulders relaxed and gently bring your right ear toward your right shoulder only as far as is comfortable as if you are listening for a quiet sound. Hold for a slow count of 5. Breathing calmly, then bring your head back to center. Repeat on the left side. You can then slowly turn your head to look over your right shoulder, pause, and then over your left. The movement should feel like a stretch, never like pain. The science here is simple. When muscles relax, they stop squeezing the blood vessels that pass between them. This allows more consistent blood flow to your head. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients delivered to your optic nerve and retina. Over time, regularly encouraging this flow helps create a healthier environment for those delicate tissues. The secret that many people do not realize is that small, consistent movements are more beneficial than occasional, intense stretches. 2 or 3 minutes every morning can be more supportive than a long session once a week. You are gently reminding your body, let the blood flow freely upward every single day. I think of a patient named Martin, age 74. He had spent most of his career at a desk leaning forward to read small print. In the mornings, he felt heavy behind his eyes and sometimes described a dual pressure in his forehead. His eye exams were stable, but he felt something was not right. When I examined his posture, his shoulders were rounded and his neck muscles were tight as cables. We created a very simple morning routine, much like the one I just described that he would do while waiting for his kettle to boil. After a month, Martin told me that he no longer woke up with that dual heaviness. He still needed his glasses, of course, but his eyes felt less tired by mid-morning and he felt more alert. It was not a miracle, it was better blood flow. So morning habit number 6 is about giving your eyes a better supply line using nothing more than your own breath and gentle movements. While this opens a pathway, the next habit gives your eyes a short focus workout that strengthens the tiny muscles that help you change focus throughout the day. Morning habit number 7 is a simple near and far focusing exercise. Inside each of your eyes is a small muscle that changes the shape of the lens, allowing you to shift focus from something close, like a book, to something far, like a street sign. As we age, the lens itself becomes stiffer and the muscle can become a bit sluggish from lack of variety. Many of us spend long periods looking at one distance only, usually something close. In the morning, when your eyes are just waking up, giving that focusing system a gentle, structured workout can help it respond more smoothly throughout the day. Think of it like stretching a joint that has been still all night. Here is how to do it. Stand or sit near a window if you can. Hold your thumb or a small object like a pen at arm's length in front of you. First, look at your thumb, letting it come into clear focus. Then, without moving your head, shift your gaze to something far away, like a tree, a building, or a point in the distance outside the window. Allow that far object to come into focus. Move your gaze back and forth between your thumb and the distant object, pausing a second or two on each. Do this for about 30 to 60 seconds. The key is to keep your breathing relaxed and your shoulders soft. You're asking your focusing system to wake up and not forcing it to strain. From a science perspective, this activity engages your ciliary muscle, the small muscle that controls lens shape. By asking it to shift gradually between near and far, you maintain some flexibility in that system. While this does not reverse all age-related changes, it can reduce the stiffness you feel when you suddenly look up from something close and notice that the distance looks fuzzy for a moment. Here is a small secret. If you wear glasses, you can do this exercise with your glasses on. The point is not to test your raw vision, it is to keep the focusing mechanism active within the conditions you normally use to see. I remember a woman named Teresa, age 70. She loved to knit and read, often spending hours with her eyes fixed on close work. She told me that when she looked up, the room seemed out of focus and it took a long time to clear. She felt unsteady when she stood up after reading. I suggested this gentle near and far practice each morning right after she finished her first glass of water. A few weeks later, Teresa reported that the shift from close to far had become smoother. She still needed her reading glasses, but she felt less startled by the change in focus when she looked up. She even said she felt more confident walking from her living room to the kitchen without that brief moment of disorientation. So morning habit number 7 gives your focusing system a thoughtful daily warm-up. While that helps with how your eyes change focus, our next habit addresses something that many of us do almost without thinking the moment we wake up reaching for our screens. Morning habit number 8 is giving your eyes a screen-free first 20 minutes. For many people, the first light their eyes see in the morning is not the soft light of the sun or a lamp, but the harsh, close light of a phone or a tablet held inches from the face. That light is bright, rich in blue wavelengths, and the text is small, demanding intense focus at a very close range. For eyes that have just spent hours in darkness and rest, this is like asking your legs to sprint the moment you step out of bed. Screens also encourage a type of staring that reduces your blink rate. You blink less, your tear film evaporates faster, and dryness and irritation set in quickly. If this is how you start your day, your eyes are playing catch up for hours afterward. The science is clear that prolonged close screen use increases eye strain, sometimes called digital eye strain. It is not that screens are evil, they are simply demanding. For older eyes, that demand can be more tiring. The secret here is not that you must give up screens entirely, it is that you can choose when to invite them into your day. By giving your eyes the first 20 minutes, or even 10 if 20 feels too long at first, without a bright screen a few inches away, you allow your natural tear film to stabilize, your focusing system to warm up, and your brain to wake using more gentle signals, like natural light movement and conversation. I had a patient named Arthur, age 69, who slept with his phone on the nightstand. He told me that the first thing he did each morning was check messages and news. Within minutes, his eyes would feel tired and his mood would drop. When I suggested the screen-free first 20 minutes, he laughed and said that would be harder than giving up sugar. But he agreed to try. He began leaving his phone in another room at night and placing a small notepad by his bed instead. In the morning, he would drink his water, do his neck stretches and blinking exercises, and sit by the window for a few minutes. Only after that would he retrieve his phone. A month later, Arthur told me something simple but powerful. My morning feel kinder now, he said. My eyes do not feel attacked. He noticed less burning and less mid-morning fatigue. His phone was still part of his life, but no longer the boss of his first waking moments. So morning habit number 8 asks you to protect the first minutes of your day as a gentle on-ramp for your eyes. While that reduces early strain, our next habit focuses on the environment around you, particularly the light you read by and the way it hits your page or screen. Morning habit number 9 is creating eye-friendly light and reading distance. When you read in dim light or with a single harsh light shining directly into your eyes instead of onto the page, your eyes have to work much harder. The pupils open wider, the focusing muscles strain, and any tiny imperfections in the lens or cornea are magnified. Over time, this can contribute to headaches and the sense that your eyes tire very quickly. In the morning, many people like to read the news, a devotional, or a book. This is a lovely ritual, and I do not want you to give it up. I want you to do it in a way that makes your eyes say thank you instead of help. Here is the simple science. Your eyes prefer even indirect light that illuminates what you are looking at, not light that points straight into your pupils. They also prefer a reading distance that allows the muscles in your eyes to stay in a comfortable position, usually about the distance from your elbow to your knuckles when your arm is bent rather than very close to your nose. The secret is to adjust the position of your lamp and your reading material not to strain your body. If you are reading at a table, place a lamp so that it shines onto the page from above or from the side, not from directly behind you or straight into your eyes. If you are using a tablet, lower the brightness to a comfortable level and increase the text size so you are not squinting. I think of a patient named Noreen, age 73. She loved doing crossword puzzles early in the morning, often with only the kitchen light on above her. She complained of eye ache and a feeling that letters dance on the page. When we talked about her routine, we realized that the overhead light was casting shadows, and the page was farther away than ideal. We made 2 small changes. She brought the puzzle closer to a comfortable arm's length and added a small table lamp that shone directly onto the paper. She also increased the print size when she did puzzles on her tablet. At her next visit, she told me that the ache behind her eyes had nearly disappeared and she could enjoy her morning puzzles again without feeling drained afterward. She did not get younger eyes, but she gave her eyes a kinder environment. So, morning habit number 9 is about arranging light and distance so your eyes are supported, not overworked. While that shapes your environment, our next habit uses something many of you already enjoy: your morning cup of tea or coffee as an opportunity to quietly bathe your eyes in protective plant compounds. Morning habit number 10 is choosing an eye-friendly morning drink and pairing it with hydration. Many of my patients love their morning coffee or tea. They worry that they must give it up for health reasons. In reality, when used thoughtfully, these drinks can be part of your eye support plan. Coffee and many teas contain natural antioxidants called polyphenols, which help neutralize oxidative stress in your blood vessels and tissues. Green tea, for example, is rich in catechins, and black tea and coffee contain their own families of beneficial compounds. The important point is balance. Caffeine can have a mild dehydrating effect in some people, encouraging your body to lose more fluid. Since we want to keep your eyes well hydrated, the secret is to always pair your caffeinated drink with water, rather than letting it replace water. Here is a simple pattern. After your first glass of plain water, as we discussed earlier, you can enjoy a cup of green tea, black tea, or coffee. Sip it slowly rather than gulping. If you tend to drink several cups, try alternating each cup with another half glass of water. This way, you are taking in protective antioxidants while maintaining your overall hydration. I recall a patient named Denise, age 68, who drank 3 strong cups of coffee each morning and little else until lunchtime. Her eyes often felt dry and sore by late morning, and she assumed it was age. We did not take away her coffee. Instead, we shifted the rhythm. She drank 1 glass of water on waking, then 1 cup of coffee, then another half glass of water, then if she wanted a second coffee or a cup of green tea instead. After a few weeks, she noticed that her eyes felt less scratchy and that she did not need artificial tears as often. Her optometrist noted that her tear film looked more stable on examination. Denise was pleasantly surprised that she could keep her morning ritual and still treat her eyes kindly. So, morning habit number 10 turns your existing morning drink into a more conscious choice, one that offers protective compounds while respecting your eye's need for moisture. We have now added several more gentle tools to your morning movement for circulation focusing practice, screen timing, better light, and a thoughtful drink. Each one is small. Together, they create a safer, more nurturing environment for your eyes from the very first moments of your day. In the next part, we will continue with additional morning habits that focus on balance and safety, including how you move through your home, how you prepare your space to prevent falls, and a few more surprising ways to give your eyes quiet support before the day becomes busy. Let us continue together just as if we are still sitting at the kitchen table and the morning is slowly unfolding. By now, you have heard about 10 gentle habits that help your eyes from the inside and the outside: hydration, warmth, light blinking, nourishing, foods movement, and kinder screens. Now, I want to shift our attention to something just as important: how you move through your home in those first moments of the day, and how that can protect both your vision and your independence. Morning habit number 11 is taking a slow seated pause before you stand and letting your eyes adjust while you do a simple safety check. So many people over 60 describe the same experience. They wake up, swings their legs out of bed, stand quickly, and suddenly the room tilts, or their vision goes gray for a second or two. Maybe they feel a little dizzy or unsteady. In that brief moment, a stumble can happen, especially if there are shoes, cords, or rugs on the floor that are hard to see. From a medical point of view, when you go from lying down to standing, your blood pressure can drop for a moment. If you stand too quickly, blood flow to your brain and eyes can lag behind, and your vision may briefly dim or blur. That is not your eyes failing, it is your circulation and it is something you can work with. Here is the habit. When you wake up, instead of immediately jumping to your feet, bring yourself to a sitting position on the edge of the bed. Place your feet flat on the floor. Rest your hands on your thighs. Take 2 or 3 slow breaths. As you do, let your eyes gently scan the room. Notice the doorway, the furniture, the floor. You are giving your brain and eyes a chance to wake up together. The secret here is that this pause does more than just prevent dizziness. It becomes a tiny morning ritual of orientation. You're telling your nervous system, we are awake. We are here. Let us see clearly before we move. I remember a patient named Ruth, age 76, who had stumbled twice in the middle of the night and the early morning. She did not fall, but she scared herself. Her eyes were healthy, but her blood pressure tended to drop when she stood. We agreed on the rule she called sit, see, then stand. Every morning and every time she got up at night, she sat, looked around, and only then stood up slowly. When she came back a few months later, she told me that not only had she stopped stumbling, but she actually felt calmer in the mornings. My day feels less rushed from the very first minute, she said. Her vision had not magically changed, but she was using it with more respect. So, morning habit number 11 is that small seated pause, letting your eyes focus on your surroundings before your feet carry you across the room. While that protects you from sudden changes, the next habit focuses on what your eyes actually see on the floor and at the edges of your space. Morning habit number 12 is a quick pathway and contrast check in the places you walk first thing in the morning. Our eyes do not just see objects, they rely heavily on contrast, the difference between light and dark, between the edge of a step and the floor below it. As we age, our ability to see fine contrast can diminish. A beige step on a beige floor or a light rug on a light wooden floor can become almost invisible, especially in dim light. That is how trips and falls happen even when your vision tests are not terrible. The simple science is that cells in your retina that detect edges and contrast need enough difference in brightness or color to send a strong signal. If everything blends together, those signals are weaker, and your brain has to guess where one surface ends and another begins. The secret is not to redesign your whole home overnight, but to build a habit of quickly checking and, when needed, improving contrast in your most used morning paths. For example, the path from your bed to the bathroom, from the bedroom to the kitchen, and around any stairs. Each morning as you walk these paths, let your eyes consciously scan the floor. Are there dark objects on the dark floor like slippers or a bag that could be hard to see? Is there a low step that blends in with the surrounding floor? Simple changes like using a darker mat on the light floor or placing a strip of contrasting tape on the edge of a step can make those boundaries pop for your eyes. I think of a patient named Leonard, age 80. His vision was mildly reduced from age, but he managed well. Still, he had fallen once when he missed a single step down into his living room, because the step and floor were nearly the same color. After we talked, his daughter placed a dark strip on the edge of that step and the darker mat at the bottom. Each morning, Leonard made it a habit to glance at that step and say out loud, "There you are." It sounds small, but he told me later that he had not had another misstep, and he felt safer moving around his own home. The contrast did not change his eyes, but it changed what his eyes were asked to do. So morning habit number 12 is this gentle pathway and contrast. Scan a way of partnering with your eyes to make your space easier for them to read. While that focuses on the floor, our next habit is about the light that fills those spaces. Morning habit number 13 is turning on or opening up enough light before you walk instead of walking through dim shadows. Many people get out of bed and walk to the bathroom or kitchen in very low light, either because they do not want to disturb someone else or because they feel they can see just fine. But aging eyes need more light to see the same level of detail as a younger eyes. What feels dim to a 20-year-old may feel almost like twilight to a 70-year-old, even if you do not consciously notice it. Inside your eyes, the lens and other structures can become slightly cloudier with age. This scatters light and reduces the amount that actually reaches the retina. The result is that you need more light to get the same signal to your brain. The morning habit is simple. Before you start walking through your home, make sure there is enough gentle, even light. That could mean switching on a bedside lamp using a nightlight in the hallway and bathroom, or opening the curtains to let in morning daylight. Think of it as turning up the dimmer switch so your eyes do not have to strain. The secret here is that you want light that illuminates your path, not light that shines directly into your eyes. A small lamp at waist height or a shaded ceiling light can be kinder than a bare bulb. Night lights that point downward toward the floor can help you see obstacles without glaring into your vision. I recall a patient named Marguerite, age 72, who had trouble in the mornings because her bedroom was dark blue and she preferred to keep the curtains closed. She would walk to the bathroom using only the faint light from a small window in the hallway. She often bumped her shoulder on the door frame. We made two simple changes. She placed a soft low wattage lamp on the dresser that she turned on before standing, and she added a plug-in nightlight near the bathroom floor. After that, she told me that the room felt welcoming in the morning instead of gloomy, and she stopped bumping into things. Her eyes were no longer being asked to perform in near darkness. So morning habit number 13 is about inviting enough light into your space so your eyes can clearly see what your feet are doing. While lighting helps your eyes interpret the world, there is another piece of the puzzle: how your body and your balance system work with your vision as you take those first steps. Morning habit number 14 is a brief balance and eye coordination check while you hold on to something stable. Your balance relies on three main systems working together: your inner ears, your muscles and joints, and your eyes. When one of these changes with age, the others have to work harder. Many of my older patients do not realize how much their eyes are already compensating for shifts in balance, especially when they first get up in the morning. A simple way to support this partnership is to spend just 1 or 2 minutes each morning practicing a gentle balance stance while your eyes stay steady on a fixed point. This tells your brain, we are stable, we are safe, and your eyes can relax a bit instead of constantly scanning for danger. Here is how to do it safely. Stand at your kitchen counter or behind a sturdy chair and place both hands lightly on the surface. Choose a point on the wall in front of you, maybe a picture or a light switch, and let your eyes rest on it. Then slowly shift your weight onto both feet, evenly feeling the floor under your toes and heels. If you feel steady, you might gently bring your feet a little closer together. Hold this position for 10 to 20 seconds, breathing normally, eyes resting on that one point. Then relax and widen your feet again. If you feel confident, you can later try lifting one heel slightly off the ground, still holding on and still looking at that same point. The science behind this is that your brain uses the stable visual target to calibrate your inner sense of balance. Over time, this communication becomes smoother, which can reduce the feeling of unsteadiness when you first start walking. I think of a man named George, age 78, who said that his mornings felt like he was on a boat. His eye exams were stable, but his balance was not. We added this gentle balance and gaze practice to his morning routine, always with hands on the counter. After a month, he told me that the wobbliness had improved. He still walked carefully, but he no longer felt that the room was shifting under him. His confidence grew, and with it his willingness to move more during the day. His eyes and his balance system were communicating more clearly. So morning habit number 14 uses your eyes as anchors to help your body find this footing, reducing the chance of a fall that could change your independence in an instant. While that helps you move safely inside, our next habit prepares your eyes for the outdoor world they will face later in the morning, especially glare and bright light. Morning habit number 15 is preparing your glare protection at the start of the day, keeping your sunglasses and, if needed, a hat ready by the door. As we age, the lens of the eye scatters more light, which means bright sun, shiny surfaces, and car headlights can feel especially harsh. Glare does more than just make you squint. It can wash out details, make it harder to see steps and curbs, and leave your eyes feeling tired and sore. Over years, too much unprotected exposure to strong sunlight can also contribute to certain eye conditions. Your eyes do have built-in defenses, including pigments in your retina and natural antioxidants, but they benefit greatly from a bit of external help, especially in bright conditions. That is where sunglasses that block ultraviolet light and a brimmed hat come in. The secret is to make this protection automatic by setting it up in the morning, not scrambling for it when you are already halfway out the door. After you finish your breakfast or morning routine, take a moment to place your sunglasses in the small bowl or hook near the door, and if you use one, hang a light hat there as well. Some people like to leave a second pair of sunglasses in the car. I remember a patient named Helen, age 70, who loved her morning walks but often came home with aching, watery eyes. She would squint against the sun, and sometimes she felt unsure of her footing when the light reflected off the pavement. She owned sunglasses but often forgot them. We turned this into a morning habit. Right after she rinsed her breakfast dishes, she would place her sunglasses and a soft brim hat on the small table by the door. She even put a little note that said eyes first. A few weeks later, she told me that her walks felt like a different experience. She could see the details of the sidewalk and steps more clearly without squinting. Her eyes did not ache afterward, and she felt more relaxed. The outside world had not changed. She had simply given her eyes a shield before stepping into it. So morning habit number 15 uses a tiny bit of preparation to protect your eyes from glare, reduce strain, and help you move more confidently when you go outside. We have now added 5 more habits to your morning: a seated pause to let your eyes and brain wake together, a contrast and pathway check, kinder lighting, gentle balance work with a fixed gaze, and ready to go, glare protection. Each one by itself is small and manageable. Together with the earlier habits, they are building a morning environment in which your eyes do not have to fight for clarity. Instead, you are quietly working with your biology and your surroundings. In our next time together, we will explore the final group of morning habits, including how to soothe stress that tightens the tiny vessels in your eyes, how to choose a blood sugar friendly breakfast that protects those vessels, and a simple way to check in with your vision each morning so you can catch changes early and stay in charge of your eye health. Let us keep going together as if the morning is still unfolding and we are simply adding one gentle step at a time. We have already built a foundation of habits that hydrate your eyes, warm the eyelids, invite natural light, nourish the retina, move blood to the head, protect against strain, and keep you safe as you move through your home. Now I want to turn towards something that may not seem connected to your vision at first, but in reality touches every tiny blood vessel in your eyes: your morning stress level. Morning habit number 16 is a short breathing pause to soften stress and relax the tiny vessels in and around your eyes. Many of my patients tell me that they wake up already worrying. about appointments, money, family, health. The body responds to these thoughts right away. Stress hormones rise, blood vessels tighten, and muscles around the eyes and forehead become tense. When that happens day after day, it is like asking your eyes to live in a constant state of alert. Inside your eyes are microscopic vessels that respond to your nervous system. When you are calm, they open more easily and allow blood to flow smoothly. When you are tense, they can constrict, and this may reduce the easy flow of nutrients and oxygen. The good news is that your breath is one of the simplest tools you have to send a calming signal through your whole body. Here is a simple way to use it in the morning. After you sit up in bed and drink your first water, place one hand lightly on your chest and one on your belly. Close your eyes gently if that feels comfortable, or soften your gaze. Breathe in slowly through your nose while you count to 4 in your mind. Feel your belly rise more than your chest. Then breathe out through your mouth or nose while you count to 6. Repeat this for 5 to 10 breaths. You do not need to force anything. Think of it as giving your body a softer rhythm to follow. The quiet secret is that a longer out breath than in breath helps your nervous system shift toward the rest and restore mode. This is the mode that relaxes blood vessels, calms the heart, and reduces tension in the muscles around the eyes. I remember a patient named Judith, age 70. She told me that she woke every morning with tightness in her jaw and a heavy feeling behind her eyes. She used to reach for her phone and read the news first, which often raised her tension even more. We added this breathing pause before anything else. She sat, breathed in for 4 counts, out for 6 for about 1 minute. After a few weeks, Judith told me that the heaviness behind her eyes had eased. Her mornings still brought worries. Life had not changed, but her body met those worries in a softer way. Her eye pressure remained healthy, and she felt that her eyes were no longer starting the day in a clenched state. So, morning habit number 16 is a small breathing pause, a way of telling your eyes and your blood vessels that the day can begin without a fight. Now, while calm breathing helps your vessels relax, the next habit focuses on what you put on your plate, because the way your blood sugar behaves after breakfast can either protect or injure the delicate vessels in your eyes over time. Morning habit number 17 is choosing a blood sugar friendly breakfast that protects the tiny vessels feeding your retina. Many common breakfasts are built from refined flour and sugar: white bread, sweet pastries, sugary cereals, or spreads. These can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar followed by a drop. Over many years, repeated sharp spikes in blood sugar can damage the lining of small vessels, including those in your eyes. This is especially important if you have diabetes or prediabetes, but it matters for everyone. Inside those small vessels, high sugar levels act a little like sticky syrup. They can make the vessel walls thicker and less flexible. Over time, this can reduce oxygen delivery to the light-sensitive cells in your retina. A more eye-friendly breakfast is one that helps your blood sugar rise more slowly and steadily. In simple terms, that means including some protein, some healthy fat, and some fiber instead of only white, starch, and sugar. For example, instead of white toast with jam alone, you might choose whole grain toast with a small amount of nut butter and a piece of fruit. Instead of a sweet pastry, you might choose oatmeal cooked with water or milk and topped with berries and ground seeds. Eggs with vegetables can also be a very steady start. The quiet secret many people do not realize is that the order in which you eat can also matter. Starting with a few bites of protein or vegetables before the sweeter part of your meal can blunt the sugar spike. So if you have eggs and fruit, take some of the eggs first, then the fruit. I think of a patient named Carlos, age 69, who had type 2 diabetes and early changes in the blood vessels of his eyes. His usual breakfast was sweet coffee and white bread with sweet spread. We worked together to make small changes. He switched to whole grain bread, added a boiled egg most mornings, and sometimes chose unsweetened yogurt with nuts and fruit instead of bread. 6 months later, his blood sugar readings were more stable, and his eye specialist reported that the small vessel changes had not progressed. Carlos told me that he felt more steady in his energy and that he no longer had a mid-morning crash. He felt he was finally doing something concrete for his eyes 365 mornings a year. So morning habit number 17 turns your breakfast into quiet protections for the blood vessels in your eyes by smoothing out the sugar waves that wash through them. While breakfast supports your vessels, there is another layer of support that can come from certain nutrients that are hard to get enough of in food alone for some people. I am talking about supplements, but in a very careful, personalized way. Morning habit number 18 is a thoughtful check of your medications and any eye supporting supplements done in conversation with your doctor. Many older adults take several medications, and some of them can affect the eyes perhaps by drying out the tear film, changing pressure in the eye, or altering blood flow. On the other hand, certain supplements that contain vitamins and pigments for eye health can be helpful for specific conditions when used correctly. The science shows that particular combinations of vitamins and minerals can slow the progression of certain forms of age-related macular degeneration in some people, but these are not for everyone. They are also not a replacement for medical care glasses or healthy habits. The secret here is not to start taking a handful of pills on your own, but to build a simple morning habit of awareness and review. Once in a while, perhaps once a year, bring all of your medications and supplements to your eye doctor or primary doctor and ask clearly whether any of them could be affecting your eyes and whether a targeted eye formula is appropriate for you. If you and your doctor decide that an eye-specific supplement makes sense, the morning can be a good time to take it with you so that you remember it and so that it is gentler on your stomachs. If you are already taking supplements, your morning habit can be to look at each bottle for a moment and silently remind yourself why you are taking it. This keeps you from accumulating pills that do not serve you. I remember a patient named Victor, age 72, who was using several over-the-counter products he had seen in advertisements, plus his regular prescription medicines. His eyes were dry and his vision fluctuated. When we reviewed everything together, we realized that one of his allergy medicines and one bladder medicine were contributing to dryness, and some of the extra pills he was taking had no clear benefit for his condition. After his other doctors adjusted some prescriptions and we simplified his supplement list, his morning routine became lighter and his eyes felt less dry. He also saved money. His new habit was to take a small agreed upon set of pills with his breakfast and a glass of water, no more mystery capsules. So morning habit number 18 is not about adding more and more products. It is about regularly checking that what you take in the morning is truly helping your eyes and not accidentally making things harder for them. Now, even with the best habits, it is still possible for vision to change over time. The earlier you notice a change, the sooner you can seek care and protect your sight. That brings us to the next habit, a very simple morning self-check. Morning habit number 19 is a quick personal vision. Check one eye at a time to notice changes early. This is not a replacement for eye exams, and it does not diagnose anything by itself. It is more like glancing at the fuel gauge in your car each day. You're watching for sudden changes so you can act promptly. Once a day, perhaps after breakfast, choose a simple object in your home that does not move. It could be a calendar on the wall, a picture, or a small printed card with words. Stand or sit in the same spot each time if you can. With your glasses on, if you normally wear them, cover your left eye gently with your hand and look at the object with your right eye alone. Notice whether the lines look straight, the colors look normal, and the clarity feels usual for you. Then cover the right eye and do the same with the left. The secret is to pay attention to differences between the eyes and changes from your usual experience. Are letters that used to be clear now blurred in only one eye? Do straight lines now look wavy? Does a piece of the picture seem missing? If you notice something new that does not go away, that is your cue to contact your eye doctor, not to wait and see for months. I think of a patient named Naomi, age 75, who had been told she was at risk for macular degeneration. We set up this simple morning check using a calendar on her refrigerator. One morning she noticed that some of the numbers looked slightly crooked in one eye. Because she had been looking at that calendar daily, she knew this was new. She called her eye clinic and was seen soon after. Her doctor found changes in her retina that needed treatment. Because she came in early, the treatment was more effective and she maintained useful central vision. Naomi later told me that this small morning habit made her feel like an active partner in protecting her sight instead of a passive bystander. So, morning habit number 19 is this quiet daily vision. Check one eye at a time using the same object. It takes less than a minute but can make a real difference in catching changes early. We are now ready for the final morning habit in our series, and this one may surprise you. It is not about food light or movement. It is about your relationship with what you see. Morning habit number 20 is taking 1 minute to truly look at something that brings you joy and letting gratitude wash through your vision. This may sound soft compared to circulation and nutrients, but your brain and your eyes are deeply connected. The emotional tone you set in the morning influences how your brain processes visual information and how you feel about your day. Choose one thing in your environment that you appreciate seeing. It might be a plant by the window, a photo of a loved one, the view outside, or even your own hands that have served you for many years. After you finish your other morning steps, pause for 1 minute in front of this chosen sight. Look at it with intention. Notice the colors, the shapes, the small details. As you look, say quietly in your mind, I am grateful that I can see this. Thank you, eyes, for letting me take this in. The secret here is that gratitude and appreciation can soften the way you relate to your body. Instead of only noticing what is difficult or frightening about your vision, you are also acknowledging what still works, what is still beautiful and available to you. This can reduce the stress load that often sits on top of eye problems. I remember a man named Douglas, age 80, who had lost some vision in one eye after an illness. He felt angry at his body and found it hard to enjoy the things he could still see. We spoke about trying this gratitude practice. He chose a small wooden carving his wife had made many years ago and placed it by the window. Each morning he stood there for 1 minute looking at the carving, the way the light hit it, the small marks from her hands. At first he felt silly, but after some weeks he told me that the practice softened something in him. He still had loss, but he also had a daily reminder of what his remaining vision allowed him to experience. His mood lifted, and with it, his willingness to keep caring for his eyes. So, morning habit number 20 is a simple act of looking with gratitude, training your mind to see your vision not only as a source of worry, but also as a bridge to what you love. We have now walked together through all 20 morning habits, from the first sip of water to the last grateful glance at something meaningful. Each habit is small enough to fit into a real life morning. You do not need to do all of them at once. Even choosing 3 or 4 to begin with can start to change the way your eyes feel and function over time. In our next time together, I will help you weave these pieces into a single simple morning ritual, step by step, so that it feels natural rather than overwhelming. We will also talk about how to adapt the plan to your own health conditions and energy level so that you can truly make it your own and sustain it.